We continue now at the top of Daf Chav Vav Amud Aleph in Meseches Sotah. This is Sotah Daf 26a. And the previous Amud of Nachman said that when it comes to an islandess does not drink the waters of the Sotah because an islandess from the time she's born, she's not able to bear children, and therefore she's not included in this parish of Sotah. And so the Gemara is in the middle of asking on Rav Nachman from this Tosefta. The Tosefta here continues, Mu'beres chaveru menekas chaveru. Let's say you have a situation of a woman who becomes pregnant from his friend, meaning she's pregnant, and then this other man married her. That's a forbidden relationship. You can't marry a woman who became pregnant from another man, or similarly, she's nursing a child from his friend from another man. So lo shosos velo notlos ksuba divrei Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir says again, such a situation, the woman, if she's a sota, she does not drink from the water, she doesn't collect her ksuba. That's the opinion of Rabbi Meir. Shahaya Rabbi Meir Omer, because Rabbi Meir says, Lo yisa adam oberes chaveru menekas chaveru. A person's not allowed to marry the woman who becomes pregnant from his friend, or the woman who's nursing. She's nursing a child that she had with his friend. V'im nasa, and again, according to Rabbi Meir, if that does happen, if a person marries a pregnant woman or a nursing woman, yotzi, he has to separate from her, he divorces her, v'lo yachzer olamis, and he can never marry her again, he can't remarry her, and so therefore you see that this is a situation of a forbidden marriage, and as we said previously, in situations of marriages which are already prohibited, so in those situations, the sota does not drink the waters. Rashi says, Lo shosos techsiv tachasisha, that's going on the earlier Amud, v'lo yachzer olamis, knasa kansur rabban, and again, this is a fine, according to Rabbi Meir, it's lo yachzer olamis, if he marries the muberes chavero, or if he marries the menekas chavero, so then there's a knas that he's not allowed to remarry her even later on. And the Tosefta continues, V'chachamim, but the Chachamim say it's not true when it comes to mu'beres chaver menekas chavero, because what he can do is he can divorce her. And later on, when the time comes when he is allowed to marry her, when she's no longer pregnant or nursing, so then he'll be able to marry her at that point in time. According to the Chachamim, there's no knas that he's never able to remarry her. And the Tosefta continues, V'harova shenasa akaru zakena. Now let's say you have a young man who marries an akara, again, that's a woman who's not able to give birth. That's something that happened to her later in life, or an elderly woman, again, later in life, now she's older, she can't have a child. Ve'ein lo ishu banim, and this young man doesn't have a wife and children, so this is also going to be considered a forbidden relationship because there's a mitzvah to procreate. So in such a situation, again, ve'ein lo ishu banim meikara, he didn't have a wife and children from before. So lo shosa v'lo notelas ksuba. So the Tanna Kama says, in this situation also, the akara, the zakena, she does not drink, and she does not collect the ksuba. Rabbi Lazar says, again, as we saw earlier in our Mishnah, Yachalu Lisa Acheres, Velivros, Velirbos Heimen. It's not really true. It's not a forbidden relationship because he can just marry somebody else and he can procreate from this other woman, and therefore this is not considered a situation of a forbidden marriage, and therefore they are able to drink from the waters. But let's say a person warns, again, this is in contrast to the earlier case of the Tosefta. In this case, we're going to talk about a situation where she violates the warning after she gets married. So let's say you have a situation where a person gives a warning to his betrothed, or he gives a warning to the Shomeres Yavam, to this woman who's awaiting to do Yibam with him. Umisha Kansa Nistra, and then after they actually get married, that's when she goes into seclusion with the man who she was warned not to go into seclusion with. So in that situation, the halach is Oshosa. There is a possibility for drinking the waters. Either she drinks, O lo notelas ksuba, or she does not collect the ksuba, because again, if she drinks, she proves herself to be innocent, she'll be allowed to collect the ksuba. And similarly, another case in contrast, mu'uberes u'minekas atzmo. Let's say you have a woman who's pregnant or nursing, but it's from him. In other words, this is not a situation where he married a pregnant woman who became pregnant from another man. This is a situation where she's pregnant with his child. She's nursing his child. So there, O shosa, either she drinks, O lo notelas ksubasa, or she does not collect her ksuba in that situation. And Rashi over here says, what's the chiddush? Muberes atzmo, again, shaisa ishto muberes. It's his pregnant wife, Akinela, and he warns her, O shosos, there is a possibility of drinking. Maybe you would think not. V'lo amrina lo liktele levlad. We don't say that she shouldn't drink because maybe she'll end up killing the child. That we don't say. In such a situation where it's a muberes umenekas atzmo, there is a possibility to drink, and she either drinks or she does not collect her ksuba. Harov shenasa akaru is a kena. Now let's say you have a young man who marries, again, a barren woman or an elderly woman. Again, the akar is somebody who later in life it happens that she can't have children. V'yeshlo isho banim, and he already has a wife and children, so he's fulfilled the mitzvah of pru urevu. So in that case, it's not considered a forbidden kind of relationship. So osho, so olo notelas ksuba, either she drinks or she will not collect the ksuba. Eshes mamzer lemamzer, v'yeshes nesin lenesin, v'yeshes ger ve'evid meshuchrer. Let's say you have a situation of a wife of a mamzer to a mamzer, or a wife of an asin to an asin, or a wife of a ger, or an avid meshucher, a freed slave, v'ailenis, or you have a case of an ailenis. Again, that's the case that Rav Nachman was talking about. Rav Nachman said by an ailenis, there's never the possibility of drinking the waters, but here it's going to say the opposite. Oshos, in all of these cases, either she drinks, olo notelas ksuba, or she does not collect her ksuba. And Rashi explains, Eishes mamzer lemamzer, it says the wife of a mamzer to a mamzer. What that means is, kilomar isha haru'uyu lemamzer. What it means to say is, you have a woman who's allowed, it's a type of woman who's allowed to marry a mamzer. Benisas lemamzer, and she marries a mamzer, v'kine levinistra, and he warns her, and she goes into seclusion. Oshosa, well, the kavan parach pshita, the Gemara again is going to say that this seems to be obvious, this relationship is not forbidden, so what would be the problem? That's the same thing by Eishes Nesin Lenesin, and Eishes Ger V'Yevin Meshucher, the wife of a convert or a freed slave. All of those seem obvious, but again, in Ailenis it says over here, Oshosa, Olono Tals Ksuba, apparently she could drink from the waters, and that's what the Gemara asks, Katani Miha, it says here nevertheless, that it says, Ailenis, it says an Ailenis is able to drink. To Yuv Teder Rav Nachman, is this not a refutation of Rav Nachman's opinion? And so the Gemara says, Amar lach Rav Nachman will respond to you, Tanoihi. It actually is a machlokas Tanoim. So there is a Tana who says that the ailenis is able to drink. That's this Tosefta. V'anoda amri ki haitana detanya. But I follow the author, the Tana, in the following brisa. Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar over. Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar says, ailenis lo shosav lo notelas ksuba. An ailenis does not drink, and she does not collect the ksuba. Shenemar, like the pasuk says, v'niksa v'nizra zera. It says again, let's say she's innocent the sota, so then she'll have children. And we learn out from that, as we said earlier, misha darka lahazriya. It only applies to somebody who's able to have children. Yatsasa zu she'in darka lahazriya. That comes to exclude this situation, this case, where she's not able to have children. And the Gemara continues, v'rabbanan, and what about according to the Rabbanan? Hai v'niksa v'nizra zera ma'avdilei. What do they do with the pasuk of v'niksa v'nizra zera? And the Gemara answers, Mi boilu l'chedetanya. They need it for the following brisa, the teaching in the following brisa. V'niksa v'nizra zera. Again, the pasuk says that if she's innocent, then she'll have children. What does that mean? Shem ha'isa akara nifkedes divrei Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva says it means, let's say she was a barren woman, and now she goes through the Sotah procedure, and it turns out that she's innocent, so now she will be able to have children. That's the opinion of Rabbi Akiva. Amar lo Rabbi Shmuel. So Rabbi Shmuel said to him, he said to Rabbi Akiva, Imkain, if that were the case, Yizdaru kala akaros v'yifkadu. So all of those who can't have children, they'll purposely go into seclusion in order that they'll be remembered, in order that they'll have children. V'zu, and then this woman, hoel v'lo, some woman who decides she doesn't want to go into seclusion with another man, if see that she's going to lose out, that doesn't make any sense. So therefore, that cannot be the explanation, says Rabbi Shmuel. It can't be that every sota who goes through the process and turns out innocent, she doesn't have children, she'll be able to have children. So rather, Imkain, if so, matam v'lomer v'niksa v'nizra zara. What does the pasuk mean when it says v'niksa v'nizra zara? Shem ha'isa yoledis betzar yoledis berevech. It means that if she used to give birth and it was painful, now she'll be able to give birth. It won't be painful. Nekevos yolda zacharim. If she used to give birth to females, now she'll give birth to males. Kitzarim yoledis aruchim. If she used to give birth to short children, it will be tall children. Shechorim yoledis levanim. If it used to be dark children, it will be light-skinned children, white children. So that's what the pasuk actually means. It doesn't mean that if she was an akara, that she'll be able to have children. And the Gemara continues at the two dots. The Tosefta said above, Eishes mamzer lemamzer, the wife of a mamzer, meaning talking about a woman who's permitted to a mamzer, is married to a mamzer, so then she does drink from the waters. And the Gemara says, Pshit isn't this obvious, it's a permitted marriage, so why wouldn't she drink from the waters of Sotah? And the Gemara answers, Ma'u detema, no, what might you have thought? Afushe psulin lo leifush. We don't want to increase the amount of psulin, the amount of disqualified individuals. The point over here is that if this woman drinks from the waters and it turns out she's innocent, then she's blessed with children, like we said above, and that would mean there's going to be more mamzerim. So you might think this is actually a problem, and she shouldn't drink from the waters. Kamash malan. So that's what it's teaching us, that no, by Yeshus mamzer lemamzer, she also drinks from the waters. And the Gemara continues at the two dots. The Tosefta said, Eishes ger v'yevin meshuchra v'ailenis. So it said if you have the wife of a convert, of a ger, or you have the wife of a freed slave, also they drink. And the Gemara says, Pshit, isn't that obvious? The Gemara says, Ma'u detema, what might you have thought? Daber el b'nei Yisrael, the pasuk by Sotah, it says b'nei Yisrael v'lo gerim. Maybe you would think to exclude gerim. You would think that this halacha does not apply to gerim. Kamash malon. So that's what we're teaching you over here, that the halacha applies to gerim as well. And the Gemara says, Ve'im hachinami. Well, maybe we should say indeed that is the case. Maybe we should say it's b'nei Yisrael v'lo gerim, and they should be excluded. And the Gemara says to that, v'yamarta, the word v'yamarta ribuyahu, that's an inclusion, means to say that the halacha does apply to gerim. And the Gemara continues at the two dots. The Mishnah said, Eishes Kohen Shosa v'chulu. It said that the wife of a Kohen, she drinks from the waters of Sotah. The Gemara says, Pshita, isn't that obvious? Ma'u detema, what might you have said? V'hilo nispasa, asura ha-nispasa muteres. The language that's used in the pasuk is that we talk about a situation of adultery where she was not raped, she was not coerced. And that implies that if a woman was coerced, that she still remains muteres, she's still permitted to her husband. That's the context of the psukim over there. So therefore you might infer from that, v'zu, that in this case, by the wife of a Kohen, it happens to be the halach is, hoel v'nispasa asura. Since the halach is by a Kohen, that even in a situation where his wife is coerced, where his wife is raped, we say that the wife is going to be prohibited to her husband if he's a Kohen. So emelotishtas, I might think she's also not included in these halachas of Sotah. I might think that she does not drink from the waters. And so kamash malon, so that's what the Mishnah is teaching us, that she still drinks from the waters of the Sotah. And the Gemara continues at the two dots. The Mishnah said, "Muteris labala." If she does drink from the waters and it turns out she's innocent, then she's muteris. She's permitted to her husband. Again, that's by an Eishes Kohen. And the Gemara says, "Pshita, isn't that obvious? She's innocent. Why wouldn't she be permitted to her husband?" And the Gemara says, "Amar Rav Huna says, no. The case is specifically b'misnavna, where her health is deteriorating, and therefore you might think that it's saying that she's guilty. But the Gemara says, misnavna habad kuamai. But on the contrary, if she's deteriorating, that is an indication that she's guilty. The waters have tested her, and they're saying that she's guilty, so she should be forbidden." And so the Gemara answers, "B'misnavna derech evarim." The case over here is that she is deteriorating, but it's by other limbs. It's not the typical limbs that are identified in the pasuk that would deteriorate. Again, it talks about bitna, her belly, etc. This is done in an atypical fashion, not the way that's described by Sotah, and so therefore really it doesn't seem to be indicating any guilt. But however, by the wife of a Kohen, you might think it does indicate guilt, because ma'u detema, because what might you have said, hazanuye zanoi, really the case over here is that there was a situation of znus, and the reason why the water didn't test in the normal fashion, why isn't she deteriorating according to the way that is outlined in the psukim, mishum deva'ones zanoi, because maybe what happened over here it was nus, but it was coerced. She was coerced, and as we said by a Kohen, we're still strict in that case. Well, the Gave Kohen Asira, when it comes to a Kohen, so she's actually prohibited to her husband who's a Kohen in a situation of znus, which was coerced, and so therefore you might think that's why there's a strange kind of deterioration. That's what you might think, kamash malon. So that's what the Mishnah is teaching us. The Mishnah is teaching us, no, if the deterioration happens by the way of other limbs, then that really tells us nothing. It does not indicate that she's guilty, and she's still permitted to her husband. And the Gemara continues at the two dots. The Mishnah said, Eisha Saris Shosa, the wife of a eunuch, she also drinks from the waters of the Sotah. And the Saris generally is understood as somebody who is castrated. We'll see a little discussion between Rashi and Tosas in a moment. But the Gemara says, Pshita, isn't that obvious? Why shouldn't she drink? The Gemara says, Ma'u detema, what might you have said? Mi baladei isheich amar achmana. Pasuk talks about the fact that she was with another man besides her husband. V'hai la bar hachiu. Now this person who's a Saris, he's not able to be with his wife. So kamash malon, so that's what it's teaching us in the Mishnah, that even in Eisha Saris, she drinks as well. And Rashi explains, "Mi baladei sheikh mashma di isha bar hachiu." So it sounds like, again, her husband is somebody who could be with her. Kamash malon, that's what the Mishnah teaches us. The lemikdam shchivas ba'al boel hudasa. That really all the pasuk means to say is that the husband has to be with the wife before the adulterer, before the boel. V'saris bar shchivahu. And the way Rashi understands, a saris is able to lie with his wife. He can be with his wife. V'afagav de la bar zriyahu. Even though he can't impregnate his wife, he's still able to be with his wife. And Rashi notes, v'sris chamakamar. We're talking about somebody who was born a saris, the mutter l'kaima, that kind of marriage is mutter, it's able to be maintained. V'lo b'sris adam, we're not talking about a situation where another person, where a human caused him to be a saris, she'asur l'kaima, because that actually would be forbidden to maintain such a marriage. Misham lo yavo pitzuadaka, that's learned out from the pasuk of lo yavo pitzuadaka. Now Tosas over here says, Eisha saris, Rashi perush, b'sris chama v'lo b'sris adam she'asur l'kaima. Rashi says we're talking about a sris chama, like we just said, and not a sris adam, because that's a forbidden marriage. But Tosas says v'lo yadinan minolan desris adam. But we don't know from where does Rashi know that a sris adam is a marriage that's not allowed to be maintained? Kagon shashasa kosi karn, because the case could be where the man, the husband, actually drank something and it caused him to be infertile. The asr l'kaima. So how do you know that in such a situation? How do you know that's asr to be maintained? We understand that physically pitzuadaka chrushavcha, that's where there's physical damage to the aver. So in that situation, it's forbidden. It's a pasuk. But how do you know even a situation of sris adam for example, that the person drank something that caused this to happen, that caused them to be infertile, how do you know that's usher? How do you know that that relationship is going to be forbidden? Now you might say it's because there's a brisa that's brought in Yevamis. It says Pitsuadaka, Chrushavcha, Srisadam, Vahazakin, Adosar Lakaim. It has all these cases, Pitsuadaka, Chrushavcha, those are from the Psukim, and then it says Srisadam and Zakin, and then it says Asar Lakaim, it's forbidden to be in such a relationship. But you can't prove it from there, Hakatani Nami Zakin, because in that list it says an elderly person. V'chizakin Asar Lakaim, is it Asar for an elderly person to be married? That's not true. Elal Karchach Psuadaka, Chrushavcha, obviously, when the brisa says Asar Lakaim there, it's only going on the cases in the Psukim. The case of Psuadaka and Chrushavcha. Like it says over there, it says the reason is because the Psukim say that if you have that physical damage, that's a problem. Avol is to Katani bebraisa, but in the case of the Saras in the Brisa, Lo Yadana Manoli Dekoy Nami Alos. Tosa says, I don't know, how do you know that it's going on in that case? So how does Rashi know that this is the case? And the Gemara continues at the two dots. The Mishnah said, Al Yedei Kol Arayus Mekanin, a person can issue a warning to his wife that she's not allowed to go into seclusion with any one of the Arayus. In other words, let's say one of her relatives, like her father or her brother. All of those warnings are going to be effective. And the Gemara says, Pshita isn't that obvious. And we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Chaf Vav Amud Beis.